I this is like the fourth time I've done this now, and I don't know how to start these sort of things. Like, I legitimately have no idea how to start. So they're like, should I have like an intro or?
It's okay, man. Just treat it like life. It's just one giant continuum.
It's just here. It's just started.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I mean,
what it is.
technically, we've been started for 30 seconds then. So here we are.
What do you know? Here we are.
This
Invented.
is Joe McLaughlin. Say hi, Joe.
Hi everyone.
So, Joe's a good buddy of mine. We've known each other like 6 years now.
Roughly, I think. Yeah.
We've done some film stuff together. You wouldn't recognize Joe because you can't see him right now because this is a podcast. But he was in my web series Fuck Everything, which you can watch on the YouTube channel. If you're on YouTube, you can find that in the description. I don't know how to start these things, man.
There we go. It's right there. Check us out.
So Joe's the lead actor in that. We've also done a few other things together, but most importantly, he's my friend.
Yeah.
My friend. I've been very nervous about doing this sort of podcast thing with you, in particular, because.
Oh, why is that?
Well, in 6 years that we've been friends, not only have we never argued, we've never disagreed on anything. Like, you and I agree on absolutely everything. We don't have any conflict. So I'm like, what the fuck are we going to talk about for an hour? Because we don't disagree on anything.
Yeah, well, this is where it all comes out. Prepare yourself.
Oh shit! Uncover the skeletons in the closet.
I've been making lists, you know.
You've been making lists?
Yeah.
Lay it on me then, man.
Deep resentful lists.
Oh, no.
No, I'm joking. You're pretty spot on there. We generally, and if we have disagreed, it hasn't really stuck in the memory. There's just been mostly good times, eh?
I honestly can't think of anything we've disagreed on.
It's all kind of smoothed over. Maybe it's just our approach to our disagreements. We're naturally, maybe it's just like a diplomatic personality sort of approach. Who knows?
I mean, I'm honestly racking my brain because, I think 99% of what we talk about is like movies, and we have such a similar taste in movies. I don't think we've ever said like, "Oh, I love this movie," and the other one's been like, "Oh, I thought it was shit." I think we've always agreed on a movie being good or bad. I can't think of any.
I think so. Yeah. Well, that's kind of that was kind of the spark, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I still remember the day that we first officially met. I mean, we did technically meet virtually before we met in person. I think so. Yeah.
Because I remember we went to that cafe in. I'm not going to say where it is, but we went to that cafe and we had.
It's a cafe. We were the only customers on that day.
Yeah.
And we were sitting on the rooftop and we had this incredible conversation, I remember, where basically everything we talked about, it was just a click, an immediate click.
Yeah. And that's the cafe we actually ended up filming at as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
We filmed downstairs at that place.
Yeah. So Joe and I met when we were both going through university at the time. I was studying film. Joe was studying acting, and I was working up to doing my graduation short film, and I was trying to find an actor for it. I couldn't find an actor to save my fucking life. And my lecturer was like, "Hey, you should check out this dude, Joe McLaughlin. You should hit him up, have a chat with him, audition him, whatever." So I was like, "Okay, cool." So I was like, "Hey, let's go get coffee and have a chat." Didn't even audition you, just had coffee with you. And I was like, "You got the part." And then I think while we were there as well, Tom was in the city, like close by, and you were like, "Hey, why don't you meet my friend Tom as well?" So then we went and had beers with Tom, and I didn't even audition him as well. Just fucking cast
Well,
him
it was,
as the
it was
best
kind
friend.
of one of those things where I suppose you were looking for a specific type of. I suppose you were looking for demeanor, and in a way, a conversation is the rawest form of audition because
Yeah.
there's less likely to be this kind of pretense of okay now I'm auditioning, and it's kind of this classic actors issue, I suppose, of being able to sort of strip back the elements that interfere with being truthful, I guess, for a part, and
Yeah,
in a way,
absolutely.
just through the sheer act of conversing when we first met, and the same thing with Tom when he popped along for the interaction was just that kind of you were able to grasp the sense of our way of relating to each other, and I just remember you straight away just saying like, yeah, you guys are the characters, let's do this. Here are the shooting dates.
Yeah.
And away we went.
I was literally, and you guys had such a great rapport, and the fact that I could see you two together and have a great rapport. You guys were actually really good friends, and you needed to play best friends, so I could see that and be like, okay, these guys can already engage in this sort of level. And then for me to be able to engage with you guys that first time meeting you and have this great conversation, this great rapport, to be like, okay, I can have this conversation with these guys, then I can put that into a filmic point, and I'm going to be able to communicate with you guys better to communicate my vision and what I want to see happen. And that's such an important thing, because I've worked with actors before, and I'm like, I want you to kind of like look at it like this in these particular ways. It just goes over their head. But with the communication you and I have, I could be like, hey Joe, I feel like, just Nightcrawler it up just a little bit, and you're like, got it. You know exactly what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I've loved
certainly
about working with you.
Yeah, well, the same, man. It's having a good starting point of shared tastes. It certainly helps our the way we're able to we kind of speak in a certain language in a way, which is quite nice and quite refreshing. And I suppose also like being malleable was something that I tried to aim for in that first project, and sort of just trying to serve your idea of your script that you'd written the best way that I could. And I suppose that's something that I kind of said a couple of times. I'm really repeating myself here, but that was ultimately my what I wanted for it was it to make sense story-wise and just serve that.
I desperately want to release that on YouTube, the dolphin. But I tried to, because I've been saying to you for the past like 5 years that I wanted to like re-edit it, right? And go back and redo it all. And I've actually tried to do that. I don't know if I've mentioned that to you, but I've actually tried to go back and re-edit it because
how did that go?
It didn't work. It's too old, the Premiere, so the editing program now is too old that it doesn't actually it's not actually compatible anymore. And for some reason I haven't been able to go back in an update, so I'm able to do it. So kind of bums me out, because when it came time, since it was a uni project, when it came time to actually editing it, it had to be done through class and stuff like that, and the teacher made me change a whole bunch of shit and take out a whole bunch of stuff that we really wanted in the story, like a fun scene with Joe in the shower.
Yeah,
God.
I always remember that.
That was fun. That's
I think I actually destroyed the audio guy's ears, because he would have been monitoring.
Brendan.
Yeah, Brandon, that's right. Because there was that moment where I think it was in the first take as well, where I just really let loose and kind of just swore really loudly.
So for context, the scene in which we're talking about, Joe's character's having a little wank in the shower, but he can't, for some reason. There's something that he can't do. He can't
Not this time.
He can't achieve enlightenment, as they say. So he gets very frustrated and he swears very loudly, which was, I think, I felt so bad for the owners of the house because they were both like in their 80s. And then they just had like, I think there's like 30 of us that took over their house for like 4 days.
Yeah.
And then there was like sex scenes, there were dudes wanking in their shower and screaming, and it was a mess. But
there was crying scenes on the couch.
oh,
It was heavy, man. Some of those scenes were pretty heavy. I think actually at one point the guy, the owner of the house, came out, and it was just before we had to film this really kind of serious scene just following the pinnacle, or like the kind of pinnacle moment. Someone dies, and I remember I was getting ready to go on and do this scene because it's quite a solitary, inward scene where it's just the characters just by themselves having a moment. And the owner of the house came out. I was sitting on the front porch, and he just comes out and he goes, "Oh, how are you going?" I'm just sort of like psychologically prepping. And at that point, I think I was in my second year of acting college, and I took myself quite seriously. That I didn't really, it caught me so by surprise. Just kind of had to have a pleasant interaction, and then in 30 seconds I was walking on set. So
yeah, that's such a difficult thing when it comes to like those small sets, these like student sets and stuff, is those sort of separations, because I like to give you guys like your space in particular scenes like that where you really need to focus on being in a particular mood. So I'd be like, hey, all the crew, leave the actor the fuck alone. Don't talk to the actor. They need to deal with their shit right now and get into that kind of space. And then you have your own space. But like these like student sets and stuff, that's just in a house. So you're just in a room somewhere. So if someone walks into that room, that's fucked, On these bigger sets, you'd have like your own trailer, you'd have your own space where people know not to fuck with it.
Yeah, well, you're really good, and you're just a very professional guy to work with. You're always very respectful of that whole kind of area of working, and I don't know. I suppose it's important to be really on the same side as your crew.
Yeah,
or be kind of working towards that common goal, and to keep that in mind all the time, because that's ultimately what kind of binds a team together, and it's through the kind of shared enjoyment of pursuing that meaning while you're on set, which is totally just the rush and the fun part of it. You're an awesome guy to collaborate with.
Oh, thanks, man. I miss like we haven't filmed anything in like 2 years now, since Fuck Everything was like the last thing that we filmed. And that's close to 2 years now since we filmed that, which is insane to think about. Like 2 years since that. It honestly still feels like yesterday. And of course, like COVID's been a big thing this year. They kind of fucked with that, because I did have some plans to do stuff this year. I've been working on stuff, but it just like, nah, not going to happen this year, which, kind of sucks. But, I've been able to do YouTube stuff in the meantime, which is really cool. And you've been doing music stuff as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I suppose, for lots of people, it's been a real compromising year, or the whole planet.
Yeah.
By lots of people, I mean the whole planet. And that's kind of, I've been sort of thinking about that a lot. And in a way, it's this kind of idea of working with your limitations, particularly in a creative field, I think is what really, that can really set people free, because there's so many factors involved in sitting down to making something, and it can get so overwhelming. It's something I actually wanted to ask you about, is, do you have an approach to, because obviously you've written lots of scripts, and you're a creative guy, usually bubbling with lots of ideas every time we talk. Do you have a process or say, for example, I've heard that lots of writers or performers they utilize ritual in order to kind of set up, I suppose, a certain mindset or a flow zone that enables them to really just kind of get into that kind of world. So,
Yeah.
do you have something like that?
Not particularly. So the way that I typically write when I sit down to do like a script or something, I'll generally just go where the story goes. You know, I don't like to plan things out. I don't like to go, you know, this is the inciting incident, this is act 1, this is act 2, this is act 3, and this is what I don't like to do it that way. I'll just write and just follow the story where it goes. And not think about where I want to take it, and then just follow it, get to the end, and then kind of go back and clean it up a bit that way. And for the longest time, I felt like this is not right. You know, you're supposed to plan these things out. You know, I've seen writers that have like little sort of, you know, there's palm card sort of things, and they'll write each scene on a palm card and lay them out and properly do that before they sit down and do the script.
Yeah.
So I was always like, oh, I'm a bit of a weirdo doing this sort of way. And then I watched a, not like a TED talk, but a talk or something from Charlie Kaufman, who I fucking love Charlie Kaufman. I love all his scripts. I've recently watched I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which is his third film, but fuck, it was great as well. So yeah, I watched a thing with him, and he was talking about his writing process, because I mean, he's a phenomenal fucking writer. And he said exactly that. He said he doesn't plan things, he just writes a script, and then he'll learn about the characters as he goes along, and then go back and change things if it actually becomes apparent later in the script. And I was like, holy fuck, that's so cool. I felt so weird for so long, but knowing that one of my favorite writers writes in the exact same way, that's really cool for me. So I've tried planning, it doesn't work for me. I kind of just need to go with the flow and learn as things happen.
Yeah, well, that's the kind of beauty of creativity in general, is that I really do believe that it evolves your own consciousness through the sheer act of just experiencing, bringing some idea into the world and getting it on the page or getting it recorded is such a it entails a sort of evolution on a personal level.
Absolutely.
I think, and it's cool that you've got that, because you know, you do really ultimately you can be blessed with the greatest formal education, and still at the end of the day you have to throw away all those things in order to get something down, in order to sort of write. And so yeah, it kind of requires switching off that side of the brain that is so analytical that it paralyzes you, and I guess that's sort of why I'm curious to know whether that's something that you kind of think about, or whether you just do it.
Yeah, it's just do it for me. Like every script that I've written, that I've finished, has always been just sit down and just do it, you know. Like I wrote, I think, Fuck Everything, it took me 3 days start to finish to write, and that was it. Like I didn't do any changes or anything after that, apart from a few like little spelling errors here and there. Like I think I wrote acai bowls instead of acai bowls at some point. But yeah, no, I don't know. It works for some people. It doesn't work for some people. Planning doesn't work for me. The more I plan something, the more I hate it. You know, the less, because then it doesn't become about being creative. It becomes about like I don't know quite how to explain it, because it doesn't feel like creativity to me then if I'm just like planning it out. It feels more like I'm putting together like IKEA furniture.
Yeah.
I'm just following the rules.
Yeah. Well, that kind of reminds me of, there's this a musician. He's passed away now, but he was the lead singer of a band in the 80s and early 90s called Talk Talk. Mark Hollis was the name of the lead singer, I suppose the primary songwriter of that band. And really interesting evolution that occurred with that band, because they started out as a kind of 80s pop synth band, a synth pop band.
Mm.
And they morphed into this really kind of avant-garde, experimental band in the next decade, the 90s. And something that he says that really struck me, just in terms of his approach, is if you don't have a reason to play a note, don't play it. And his whole thing was that he preferred silence over playing a note. And his whole kind of, I guess, approach or ethos was to really have a reason or some kind of intent behind everything, I suppose, in a way that it evolves or unfolds in an organic way.
Yeah.
Which is, it's kind of a mysterious thing to think about that.
Yeah, I really like that. That reminds me of a quote from Lynn Ramsey, the director of You Were Never Really Here, and We Need to Talk About Kevin. Phenomenal fucking director. But I watched a thing with her, and she said a very similar thing, like obviously about film instead of music. When the visuals are saying something, the audio doesn't say anything. The audio's pulled back, and when the audio's saying something, the visuals don't say something. You don't want to overload too much. You want to kind of pick and choose what has the dominant sort of thing. It kind of makes me think of what you're saying, like be comfortable with silence, be comfortable with just taking a step back and letting things kind of speak for themselves.
Yeah, well, there's so much. It's easy to forget that so much of watching a film is well, I mean, a large percentage of it is the viewer projecting onto what's already there. So I guess it's a common trap to get so busy doing so much that you kind of undermine the viewer's intelligence. So to kind of strip things back and
I've been struggling with that a bit when it comes to like doing YouTube stuff, because like it could be quite difficult, like doing like commentating over games and such. You have this feeling like I need to be talking the whole time. I need to be filling all this silence and talking, commenting what I would make, comment on the game, make a joke, do this, do that. And then like I'll watch much more successful YouTubers, ones with like millions and millions of subscribers and views to every single video. And they'll barely talk at all during their thing. They'll make a comment every 5 seconds or so, but there's a lot of silence, and they kind of pace themselves. They only say things when stuff needs to be said, and they've kind of worked out this sort of thing. And I'm like, fuck, that's the secret. You don't need to fill every single bit of silence. You can just take a second and let what you've said or what's happened resonate.
Well, that's right. It's a kind of economy of effort that isn't strained with overthinking.
Yes. But it's such a hard thing to overcome though, because like I've been doing YouTube for 6 months now, roundabout. And that whole time I've had that sort of fill the silence, don't let there be awkward silence. So it's become a habit now that I need to kind of break out of. But I think half the point or half the battle is understanding what the problem is, and found that problem there. So that's kind of good.
Yeah.
But with yourself, man, you've been doing music a lot since we can't do film stuff. Not to mention the fact we live in different states now, so we can't do film stuff as much anymore.
That's
but
also another thing. Yeah, I can't really leave Victoria just yet.
Yeah,
but
Sorry, go on.
No, I just cut you off. But I've taken a bit of a break from acting for a little while. And kind of been focusing on recording and writing music.
Yeah.
And it's been really great. It's been a lot of fun.
Just trying to find the word.
It goes with great. I think the most important thing is just to have fun with it. And, obviously, I've got that sort of hyper-conscientious side of myself that is overly perfectionistic and wants every recording every track to be, say exactly the way I imagined it would express itself. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's just allowing that sort of unfolding to happen, and then. So yeah, just to give you a bit of background, I've kind of been learning a lot about producing this year, like how to mix and let the elements, each element kind of succinctly
Like work together.
yeah, kind of like create it, so like all the individual elements kind of are glued together nicely as a whole.
Yeah.
So I've been sort of like focusing on that quite a lot this year, and yeah, it's been really rewarding. It's been challenging, and it's been fun. Yeah, it's been really fun.
Yeah, it's been good because like ever since I've known you've been like an actor. Like I've known you've done music stuff on the side, but you've always been like an actor first and foremost, and like a musician second. And I think this year has really kind of flipped you around the other side, and you seem a bit happier as well through doing that sort of thing. And I think it's you have a similar sort of feeling when it comes to me. Correct me if I'm wrong, but working in film and stuff, you got to rely on 15 to 20 other people in order to be around there and contribute together to get this thing moving. But with music, it's just you're just doing this thing by yourself.
Totally, man.
And it's been the same thing for me with YouTube. I do this entirely by myself. I do all the recording, all the editing, all the gameplay, all the artwork. Everything is all me, and that's been the same sort of thing, stepping back from film where you have 20 to 30 people working with you to just working by yourself. And it's a completely different sort of thing to be like, okay, this is something creatively that I can do by myself, and I know at the end of the day I'm gonna feel good because this is all me. This is without me, none of this would have been done.
Yeah, that's right, and it's something so refreshing to be engaged with something completely autonomous, in a completely autonomous kind of way.
Yeah.
It doesn't making music for me doesn't really entail. I'm not so much dependent on another party in order to make what it is I want to make. I'm very fortunate and blessed in that sense that in this day and age, the technology is so readily available that it really is like a renaissance of the DIY artist.
Yeah. Well, that's what I learned yesterday. I think I haven't fact-checked this, so I could be entirely wrong. But apparently, Gautier's, somebody that I used to know, is an entirely electronic song.
Okay.
Apparently so. I could be wrong, but I learnt this yesterday, and I'm not sure.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Recording. Is a gradual learning process. Yeah, so it was entirely electronic song. So no live instruments or anything recorded. Which is just bizarre to me. But I mean, that's the progression of how things are coming. Like all the soundtrack to my two films and Fuck Everything was all done electronically. There was no live instruments. But in Theseus, my second film, there's these like beautiful orchestral fucking epic sort of dance parts.
Yeah.
And
I remember, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really cool. So you do all yours electronically now? Because I know you play guitar and drums, but do you do the whole thing electronically, or?
Yeah, well, I like to combine both approaches. So if I'm playing, obviously it kind of depends on my initial choices to begin with. I'll have an idea of like, do I want this to be kind of like more of a band sounding thing? And because I live in an apartment, in a city apartment at the moment, I can't really play drums, and I don't really have access to a kit.
Yeah.
So I've been making those drum tracks all with virtual instruments and samples. But yeah, I try to kind of incorporate elements from both worlds. Like I like to record acoustic and electric guitar. And piano, just to kind of humanize the elements.
Yeah.
But then maybe I'll program a drum machine that kind of gives it a kind of a more electronic kind of feel. Maybe it's a bit kind of straighter, or no, it's kind of all about. For me, it's the most important thing is groove, and particularly if
hips shaking.
Yeah, but it's such a malleable thing. Like a groove is like the bones of something, and it's such a kind of, it hits you on such a kind of unconscious level. It's really of the body. If the groove is right, then everything else is right. Generally,
Yeah.
like if I got drums and they're not really holding up their end, then the track is generally as good as the drummer. So yeah, to answer your question, I try to incorporate elements of both, and sort of try and, that's kind of the trick these days, is we have this thing in music software you probably have heard of, is quantization.
No, I haven't heard of that. That's
So to
a fancy
quantize,
word.
yeah, well, so it's like this thing where you can quantize the notes, get the notes perfectly in time, like right on the grid of a certain software that you're using.
Okay.
And because it's so accurate, I guess the fear that musicians have is that it's too computerized. It makes it sound too almost it needs that human element.
I kind of feel that though. Like, I don't know, for me personally, like, I'm not a musician, but coming from like a filmic background or like a writing background, you know me, I don't want things to be perfect. You know, I welcome mistakes and stuff like that, because it does really humanize it. It does make it a bit more realistic, authentic. So I can kind of get that feeling, but I mean, I don't have experience in that sort of area, so I don't know. But
no, it's definitely a thing. It's about, I think particularly in film is that it's those moments of spontaneity you can't plan that are ultimately the most memorable aspects of a film that you watch. And it's funny that, like you mentioned Lynn Ramsey before, I think we've spoken about this before, is that film You Were Never Really Here with Joaquin Phoenix. That scene, you know the scene I'm talking about, where he's lying on the floor next to the guy that he's just killed.
Oh yes.
And he's singing to him.
And he holds his hand
as he's dying. Yeah.
I love that fucking scene, man.
Me too. There's something so bizarre about it.
Because like this dude has just killed Joaquin's mum, and Joaquin's come home to find this dude has murdered his mum. So then he kills this dude, but as he's dying, he's like holding his hand and singing this song with him while laying on the kitchen floor. And it's something very deeply profound about this, like the loneliness of this character, that he'll share this moment with a person who's just murdered his mum.
He has every reason in the world to despise this person, and yet, as you say, it's
fucking, it's not just like Lynn Ramsey, but Joaquin Phoenix. Like, oh my god, they're both incredible.
He's a really incredible collaborator, that guy, and such a evocative artist.
I wonder what he's because I haven't actually kept up to date. What is he working on at the moment? Because I'm legitimately very curious about what's next in store for our buddy Joaquin. Because I think I don't want to speak for people, but I think I could speak for you in saying he's probably your favorite actor as well. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's just magnetic.
Oh my god,
he's inspired me so much.
Dude,
I heard he was being cast as Napoleon or something, hasn't he?
I can't see anything here, but the next film he's doing is a short film, actually. But after that is a film called Come On, Come On, which is directed by Mike Mills. So I'm all on board with that. That is a combination that I really want to see, is Mike Mills and Joaquin Phoenix.
Sign me up.
That is, so 2021, apparently that's coming out.
Did you ever watch?
And it's A24s. Of course, it's A24. Jesus.
Yeah.
I fucking love
Damn.
A24.
Yeah,
Did I
me
watch what?
too.
Sorry.
It's that they're always producing quality stuff.
Oh, they're incredible.
What was I gonna say? God, I think everything that Joaquin Phoenix has done in recent years, he's really just gone and collaborated with every distinctive voice director in the past few years.
Yeah, but not like your big out there directors. Like he hasn't worked with like Spielberg or Tarantino or Scorsese. You know, he's been hitting up the more independent sort of directors. You know, I mean, you got Mike Mills, Todd Phillips, Lynn Ramsey. I mean, he did work with Woody Allen, and I guess
that's right.
Spike Jonze. You can call it
Spike Jonze.
Counting that, but even like the two films he's done with PTA. Did one with Gus Van Sant as well. Like.
Yeah, well, that's the one I was going to say before. Did you ever watch Don't Worry, You Won't Get Far, Unfortunately?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I've been dying to, because apparently, from what I read with it, it was Jonah Hill said it's the thing that he's most proud of that he's done.
I can believe that.
Which
he was very good. There's this scene that he has with Joaquin's character that is that they completely matched each other.
Really?
On screen, yeah. I'd recommend it. It's cool. Maybe I don't know. Like it's Gus Van Sant got his kind of style. I'm interested to see what unfolds with Mike Mills.
Dude, man, you've seen 20th Century Women?
I have, yeah.
Oh man, and
Beginners,
yeah. I love Beginners. That was the first film. Actually, I haven't seen Thumbsucker, which was his first film. I still haven't seen that.
I still need to watch that too.
I think I actually own it. Oh yeah, I can actually see the DVD from where I'm sitting right now. I actually do own Thumbsucker. And then there's, of course, Miranda July, his wife, who's done two fantastic films, Me, You, and Everyone We Know, and The Future. Both fantastic.
Yeah, I've seen the first one. Yeah.
Oh, The Future's fantastic. And then she's got her third film's coming out very soon, called Kajillionaire. I think I sent you the trailer for it once upon a time, actually.
Okay.
But Kajillionaire, looks really good. I don't know what that word was that I just said. But I think is it Evan Rachel Wood? Evan Rachel Wood. She was that girl from Westworld. You seen Westworld?
That's right. Yeah. I did watch a bit of Westworld. Yeah. She's good.
Yeah, she looks very different in this though. It kind of feels like one of those just sort of character performances. I'm going to send you the link there for you to watch a little bit later in case you haven't seen it. But it looks it looks very good, and Miranda July is phenomenal, like everything that she's fucking done, because she's one of those like jack of all trades sort of artists. Like she's got a successful literary career as well. She writes fucking books, and I've got one of them actually called The First Bad Man, which I read, which I thought was just fucking incredible. She does artwork, she does movies, I think she does music as well. Like, she's one of those people that's just good at everything that she does, to the point where it's actually kind of annoying. It's just like, save some for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, totally. How do people like that sort of manage their time? That's my biggest question is, what do they do down to the microsecond that enables them to be so prolific?
Well, I mean, one of the things that because you have that sort of that idea of the successful creative person, you know, you sleep for 2 hours a night and you work for 22 hours a day, you know, it's like that sort of stereotypical idea. But from what I've research I've done into it, that's not how it works at all. Like, often the very prolific creative people, take like Mark Duplass for example. I think you listened to the Duncan Trussell podcast with Mike Duplass.
I did. That was a great episode. Yeah.
And he talks.
Mark Duplass is a very interesting fellow.
And he talks about that in there, is that he sleeps for 8 or 9 hours a night and he works for probably that 3 or 4 hours a day, and it's that kind of pacing that actually lets him get over that point. He's not working 24/7. He works for a standard amount of time during the day, but he uses that time effectively, and he doesn't overwork himself to the point where he burns himself out. And I think that's a very important thing for creative people to kind of recognize, is that you don't need to work 24/7. You need to just pace yourself. And take
Absolutely,
take a little bit of
rest
time.
and rejuvenation is
100%.
key to being able to have, I guess being able to really use your energy. It's kind of about energy usage.
Yeah, and the idea of what you do with your off time as well, because like, as you can imagine, I play a lot of video games, even outside of like recording for YouTube. I still play a lot of video games.
I gathered that.
And during that time, sometimes you'll feel like I'm wasting this time. You know, there's this time that I could be doing something productive with. But I read something recently that said, time spent doing something you enjoy is not wasted time. And that stuck with me. I'm like, yeah, you know what? If I am spending time watching a movie, listening to a song, listening to a podcast, playing a game, whatever I'm doing, as long as I'm enjoying it, it's not wasted time, because I do spend my time doing stuff. You know, I work very hard on YouTube and stuff like that, and other creative ventures. So it's the stuff you need to kind of keep in mind. You know, you don't have to be working 24/7.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's almost like a kind of glamorous idea of the kind of maybe it kind of taps into the whole tortured artist thing a little bit, or like this hustle culture that is just kind of filling the internet these days.
But it's not healthy, man.
No, it's at the end of the day, you need rest. And also procrastination does serve a purpose, because it kind of represents an incubation period for the brain to really kind of soak in the experiences and the work that you've already kind of laid down. So it's nothing to kind of, it doesn't serve much, much of a purpose to sort of be whipping oneself senselessly just because you're not doing the thing that you said that you should be doing every second of every waking moment. You take some time and spend it with yourself. So what you've been doing lots of music stuff. That's like your creative venture. What are you doing in your off time, man? What are you spending your off time doing? What's your procrastinating time? Music is my off time.
No.
No. Yeah, you're right. Boy.
Not much.
Yeah, not much, eh? I've been walking a lot more, like consciously walking. I'm very much into meditation.
I started doing meditation recently, actually. I've been kind of
How are you finding it?
I've been very hit and miss with it. Some days I'll forget to do it. Some days I'll do it. But I had a really cool moment a few weeks ago. It's a bit of background in the story, right? So when I moved house, my ex-partner, she kept the bed frame, right? So she kept the bed frame, and I just kept the mattress. She got a new mattress, so I had to get a new bed frame. So I went online, bought a bed frame, secondhand, whatever. Come home, put it together. Within 5 minutes, one of the support beams is like bent. I was like, fuck. Oh. It took me like an hour to 2 to put this bed together. I couldn't figure out how to put the bed together. The only way I could figure out how to put it together was the way that I put it together. Within 5 minutes, the frame is bent. So obviously I'd put it together wrong, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. You know, I'm just going to have this bed frame is now bent because of it. Fast forward 2 weeks later, I'm meditating and I'm not thinking about anything particular. And then it just hit me exactly how to put that bed together. And I just got up, tore my bed apart, put it back together exactly how it was meant to go. And it's been fine ever since. But it was just a really cool thing because I wasn't thinking about the bed whatsoever. I was thinking about something else. And then it just clicked in my head. I could just see it how to put the bed together, and I was like, holy fuck. And that was the coolest thing that I've experienced, because I haven't had any sort of revelations or epiphanies, and then I had that, and I was like, oh, this is cool. So
it happens like that,
and
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes things can just come to you.
I want to get into doing it more. How do you specifically meditate? Because I haven't done much research into it, and I know there's different types of meditation stuff. Are you the kind of like just clear your head, or do you like pick a topic and focus on that topic? Like what sort of way do you do it?
Yeah, well, so the way I started meditation was mainly through just I guess the Buddhist approach. There was one form that I was introduced to, which is open eye meditation. So the whole idea is that you're not blocking out any of the senses. You're just sitting with all of the senses and all of your thoughts with your eyes open, kind of in a gaze. I suppose it's like a 45-degree angle to the ground, sitting on a cushion. And so I did that through the Rigpa Foundation. That they have places that you can go and meditate at for free around the country. I think around the world as well. So that's kind of how I got into meditation formally. Before that, I'd sort of tried it by myself, and I suppose, you know, there are different forms of doing it. The most important thing I've kind of learned is there's no ideal state.
Yeah.
If anything, trying to achieve this idea of enlightenment is kind of just more, you're just kind of putting on more, like, you know, psychic costumes, and you're just kind of getting even more in your way. And so that's kind of how I started, was through reading about Buddhism and their ways of meditating. But I actually, this year, I bit the bullet, because I was always so curious about this other particular form of meditation, transcendental meditation.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that one before, but I don't know much about it.
Yeah. So it's that this form is it's through mantra, using a mantra.
Oh yeah.
And so you kind of settle into a mantra. They give you a mantra, and after your first session, they give you one, and it's kind of something that you focus on softly, without expending too much effort. And the whole idea is that it kind of gradually, you kind of gradually sink into subtler levels of consciousness without expending much effort.
Yeah.
Just by kind of focusing softly on the mantra. And it's kind of, I don't know, it's sort of, what's an analogy I would use? It's kind of like just allowing the mantra to sort of dissolve into you and you into it, until you reach this very restful, peaceful, yet alert state of consciousness. So it's kind of like you're asleep. The body kind of settles down.
I like that. That sounds cool. I've been thinking the past few weeks, every night when I'm going to sleep, I'm thinking like, oh, I need a mantra to like kind of like similar to what you're talking about. I didn't know what it particularly was, but have this idea about like going to sleep and kind of like in this sort of sense meditating to sleep, you know, because I have chronic fucking insomnia, always have. I can't sleep for the fucking life of me. It takes me hours to fall asleep, and then even then I'm a light sleeper. But I have been trying to like almost like meditate to sleep, and I've been thinking like, oh, I need to have like a mantra to fall asleep, you know, repeat to myself and kind of get myself into that state. Very similar to what you're talking about. But every time I only ever think about it when I'm trying to fall asleep. So then I'm not gonna, I'm like purposely avoiding touching my phone and stuff like that. And then I'll wake up in the morning and I've completely forgotten about it until I go back to sleep the next night. So I'm consistently going through this pattern of I need to come up with a mantra and then forgetting about it. So I'm gonna, since we got Discord open, I'm gonna type in mantra. So once we're finished with recording, I can remind myself to do some research and find a mantra for myself.
For sure, yeah, it's definitely something to to try and play with. The greatest benefit that transcendental meditation's given me is just I'm just a lot calmer. I've noticed a lot calmer and kind of just, it's weird. It's kind of like I effortlessly go about the things that, even just like chores, like house chores, like cleaning my house, I just go about it without so much mental strain anymore. My sleep has improved immensely. It's really had a noticeably calming effect on my nervous system. Whereas kind of prior forms of meditation that I tried, so much of it was kind of, I guess, concentration based, or I suppose it was just kind of sitting with discomfort, you know?
Yeah.
And restlessness naturally comes about.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's something to try. It's just like dabble in different forms and see what works for you. There is like a fee involved in learning transcendental meditation, which I think a lot of people are probably ethically opposed to, but you get my experience has been, I've had so much support, and I've had one-on-one mentorship and tuition in regards to my practice, and it's really sort of helped me. I Zoom my teachers every couple of weeks.
Oh,
yeah.
That's really cool. So, I do want to learn other types of meditation and stuff, because the way that I kind of do it at the moment is I'll sort of just fixate on a thought, you know. So I use like a real world example with this idea of living alone for the first time and having these like feelings of loneliness, inadequacy and stuff like that, and kind of like focusing on that feeling. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling lonely? Why am I feeling like I need someone there right now to justify my existence? Why can't I be okay with being by myself? And sit there and just ruminate and think about that for 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, and then just think about that and kind of follow that thread to why I'm feeling that way and kind of unravel that a little bit. And that's just an example, but that's really helped me kind of come to terms with, you know, being by myself, doing this all, like doing YouTube by myself, living by myself, doing all these kind of things for the first time in 28 years. And it's fucking helped me so much, man.
Oh, that's so great to hear, dude. What you just said is, I'm 100% on board with. I think there is real value in anyone, the moment some kind of discomfort arises, and it can happen really at any moment throughout the day, to just like really go into it.
Yeah.
Or allow yourself to follow the thread and see if it leads to some source within you.
Yeah, don't like push it off and pretend that it's not there, because
it just makes it worse.
Yeah, it's just burying it. I mean, the thought of doing that came about from a breakup a few years ago. First major breakup. You know the lady that I'm talking about. We're not going to mention her name, but the first major breakup. And you know, it was a rough breakup. So I was, you know, crying and stuff, and I live on a main road, so that probably got picked up on the microphones. Dude speeding in his car. You know, bad breakup. I was crying and stuff, and I kept trying to put it off and, you know, not think about it. Let's just focus on getting better and improving my life. And then the thought came to me. I was like, you know, I'm just gonna spend a few days and just sit here and just focus on this pain and just think about this pain. And I got over it so much quicker than any other breakup because of that, because I sat there and I focused on it, and I kind of sat in that pain for a short amount of time, and I worked through it that way. And that's what I've thought since then. And honestly, I haven't had a bad breakup since then. I mean, I've only had 2 since then, but neither have been that bad.
Yeah. Well, it's this. I really do think that. I mean, that just kind of exemplifies that the suffering we experience it serves a purpose. There's a higher purpose involved in it if you just allow yourself to sit with it. I guess it's natural to be pain averse. It's hardwired into us. It's kind of how we've evolved. But spiritually, and in terms of personal growth, it is the most transformative thing that you can experience. It's just sitting with it and just going, this is I'm in pain. This is kind of fucked. But just waiting and being patient with it.
Yeah.
There's something profoundly creative as well that comes about from it.
Yeah, and just letting it happen. Not trying to control every single aspect of your life. I'm not going to sit here and push those things down. I'm going to let them happen and get to the root of them that way, instead of trying to control the narrative, so to speak. Which, for someone like me, controlling the narrative is like my entire fucking identity. It's just difficult to then not do in my personal life. But, to get to a healthy state of mind, to get to healthy mental health, gotta do those things. That's
a bit of a mind fuck, isn't it? Especially if you've invested so much energy and time into storytelling, and then suddenly you realize, a lot of what I tell myself, or basically most of everything I tell myself, is this elaborate story in my head.
Yeah.
It's like, it gives you perspective to really just kind of watch what happens and just kind of be aware of that.
Well, that comes like full circle back around to one of the first things we're talking about, is like how I write is just by letting the story happen and just following it where it goes. And I need to learn how to adapt that into my life, not try to control the narrative in that sense. I'm kind of like the opposite of how you should fucking be. I write scripts how you should live life, and I live life how you should write scripts. And I plan out shit too much, and I overthink it, and I get into a tizzy. But when it comes to writing, it's more blasé. I don't need to flip that. I need to be more blasé in my actual life and just let shit happen. Discover it as it goes.
Yeah. There's real value in what you just said.
Yeah, well, man, this has been fun, Joe.
It has.
This has been fun, man. I was worried, like I said, we weren't going to have much to talk about because we never disagree, but man, we've done good.
This is the tip of the iceberg.
I thought you were going to say the tip of something else, but
Well, it's the tip of tips.
Just the tip. Well, what we're gonna do, we're gonna do like a little musical outro from our friend Joseph here. Do you wanna talk about this song that we're gonna play?
I suppose that could be the classic trap of do I want to explain the art, or do I want the art to represent itself? Well, I'll give you some background, I suppose.
Yeah.
This is a song I wrote and recorded. I suppose it would be probably last month sometime.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess it was something that really. It's something that I needed to say. It's almost for me it carries a lesson, I suppose, for myself. It wasn't something that I consciously kind of chose. It was just it's I guess lyrically I made it a bit nonsensical and a little bit dream logic-y on purpose, because it kind of helped me really break my own shackles creatively, and I just had a lot of fun writing it.
Yeah, well, that's like when I first listened to it, I said, I got a very Jim Morrison, Dawesian sort of vibe with it, and I think that's what you're talking about, the kind of dreamlike sort of thing. So yeah, no, it's a fucking cool track, man. So you don't have a SoundCloud or a Spotify or anything like that for people to find you at the moment.
Not at the moment, but that's in the works, and that'll all be. I'll be in touch with you about when that's all set up. I will be releasing music very soon.
Hell yeah! So if you're on YouTube, check the description because it might have been updated. So you can check the description, see if Joe has a Spotify or a SoundCloud or something there. But in the future, you're going to come back on. We're going to chat again. And then by then you should have some stuff that you can plug.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. You know, it's it's all a lifelong venture. I don't intend to stop anytime soon, and
Good.
Acting and filmmaking wise, I certainly hope that we've just really grazed the beginning.
Well, that's you can find the if you're on this is again on YouTube. Fuck everyone that's on Spotify, but if you're on YouTube, you can find links to Fuck Everything, the web series that Joe and I did together, in the description, and you can go watch that as well. Yeah, cool.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for having me on.
I love you, buddy.
It's been my pleasure, and I love what you're doing.
Oh shucks. All right, you can play us out with your song now.
All right.
Bye.
I'll count you in.